Data entry forms are the crucial user interface to any database application. They support both retrieval and modification of the data in the database system. The multi-table updatable views with read-only components are the backbone of these database operations. On the next few slides, we discuss the use of a multi-table one-to-m or one-to-many relationship type updatable views on hierarchical forms, supporting business functions such as taking orders from customers from a list of products. These hierarchical forms consist of a fixed part, the main form with order data in our case, and variable repeating part on the subform showing order details. So the main form displays the parent, order data, with the subform showing the child or order details. In addition to these two tables, order and order detail, customer, product, and employee information is also displayed for informational purposes. In general, this auxiliary information is not updatable. Instead, buttons are placed somewhere on the main form, redirecting the user to customer, product, or employee data entry forms where modification of the underlying base tables takes place. So again, order is the parent or one table with order detail to child, or the M table in this one-to-M relationship, managed by the hierarchical form we will soon get to design. The multi-table view supports both retrieval and modification of both parent and child tables. Order table is modified on the main form, with order detail table modified via the subform. Additional customer, employee, and product information is there again for informational purposes and therefore read only. The rules for designing views/queries for hierarchical forms starts by identifying the one-to-m relationship. In our case, order contains order details. Identifying the linking columns, order ID in our case, and then determining what other tables should be included: customer, employee, and product. The critical piece is to determine which tables should be updatable. And the rule is to have only one table, the parent, updatable on the main form. So this would be the order table with customer and employee as read only. The same goes for the subform. Only one table, the child, should be updatable there as well. In our case, this would be the order detail table with product table left as read only. There are many examples where the main form does not update any tables at all, with only one child table being updatable. We will have a few of these examples with our university database later on. The last step, at the bottom of the slide, is to design two queries, one for the main form and another for the subform. These are described in the following two slides. Okay, so we're going to switch back to the Access Supporting Course database and create a query for the main form by copy-pasting it from ACCDB31 using Views Forms Reports SQL file. So let's do that. Switch back to Access, okay, as well as ACC31 SQL file, and then we'll copy the query that acts as a view for the main form. Copy it. We'll go to Access, create tab, query design, SQL view, paste, save as ACCDB4 underscore 31 underscore main underscore ORD underscore update underscore view. Okay, and then run it to see that it's all there. We have that one I believe one extra customer. That's fine. One extra order rather from the previous example, which is fine. Close this. I'm going to switch back to the presentation. All right. So what we'll do next, we'll use the form wizard in order to create the main form named ACCDB31 DB431 main order form. It's going to be based, of course, on this query shown at the top of the slide. The two key things are to remember to make sure to include all the fields from the query/view, and then it'll take a minute or two to move the controls around to group the customers and employees information together, but I'll try to minimize this effort in order to save the time. So switch back to Access, run the form wizard right here, create a tab again, form wizard. We'll base it on a query, which is to say the view, and it's going to be the one with number 31. Okay. Now we can either move all of these guys all at once, or we can try to provide some grouping. So let's try customer ID, customer last name, first name, city, state. Then perhaps order ID and order date, and then employee ID, employee last name, employee first name. All of this might not make any difference. We're going to view the data by order. That's not that terribly important. And a columnar type of data, and we'll save this form as ACCDB4 underscore 31 underscore main underscore order underscore form, and it's going to show up at the bottom here. Now there's some confusion between the last names of customers and employees, so you need to do is switch to the design view. Okay, click on the problematic fields, and on the property sheet, make sure to pick the customer last name. I'm not sure why this has not worked. We clearly moved over those specific ones, so just make sure you do it right, last and first. So rearranging the controls a little bit, I'm going to make the form a little bit wider, and then I'm going to grab everything below over here and move it to the right, which is going to necessitate a little bit of a shortening of some of these fields, which are too long to begin with. Okay, shorten some of these fields appropriately, but again, let's not spend too much time on this, as it's not really worth it. Not terribly worth it. Okay, and that'll do it, and then we'll see if we can sort of resave it and view it. And then if you browse through it, you'll see how the orders, customers, and if you click enough records, you'll move from Steve to another employee like Benny. Okay, we're going to close that, switch back to the presentation. Okay, we're going to continue with the same database, the sporting goods database, and we're going to create a query named ACCDB4 underscore 31 subform order detail update view for the subform of that main form showed on the previous slide. All right, we'll select all the info from the order detail and few columns from the product table, namely name and price. Okay, and then we're going to insert the subform control at the bottom of the form, as I'll show you, and we'll again go through a wizard-like steps with the subform, making sure to include all the fields, connect main and subform order ID, and then name it appropriately, and of course test this with updates, inserts, and deletions that will sort of make up as we go along. Okay, back here, I'm going to squish this a little bit so I can see this guy. These are all provided, right? So there's no typing to speed this up a little bit. Okay, so we got that query design. Okay, I just have to remember what is it. What are these guys called? ACCDB4 underscore 31 underscore subform underscore ORD detail underscore update underscore view. Horrendously long names. Okay, I'm going to just run that quickly and see about those 2080 something records that has been modified in the previous videos. Okay, and then we're going to use we're not going to use the form wizard. We're going to open the form in the design view. Okay, and then what we're going to do, I'm just going to say here customer order entry form or something like that, and then we're going to see if I can squish this a little bit. Okay, get a little bit more space here to insert the subform right here, subform subreport, and make sure it sort of spans the whole thing. Although it's hard to control these things, we're going to use existing view slash query by the name of 31 subform, and then we're going to include, let's see, order ID. Then we're going to do product ID, product name, price, and then quantity. Okay, define on our own order ID from the main form or main query, and order ID from the subform or subquery as the join between the main form and the subform, as is graphically sort of shown here. And then we're going to save this with a similar name. Okay, order detail. So order detail subform. Order detail subform. So ACCDB4 underscore 31 underscore ORD detail underscore subform, and then finish that. Okay, yeah, so you can sort of see here there's an unnecessary label there. Then I'm going to try to make this wild. I'm not sure what effect does that have. I'm going to save it, and I'm going to then run it. Okay, and I'm going to find myself that 1003. Okay, order ID 1003. And how about for so you can kind of see that I'm not too happy with the layout down here, because these columns are way too wide. So how about here? We want to change the date to the 2nd, right? And then we want to change this back to 2, reversing what we did before, right? If I close this and I go to order, pick my order 1003, you'll see the back to the 2nd of January. Okay, and similarly, if I look at my outer detail for 1003, I'll see that quantity for product 168 is back at 2. Okay, I'm not going to be doing any deletions, although I could probably try. I'm going to go back and run the main form, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to insert a new blank record, which is a little trickier. Not there though. Over for I already have the 3000, right? Don't I? I already have 3000 right there. I think I already have 3000. If I look for it, nope, I do not. Huh? No, there it is, right here. Okay, there's 3000 with Delk Marsh. I remember that. Employee 51 and so forth, right? So that's the one. So if I insert a new one, it's going to have to be, I don't know, 4000 or something. So order number 4000. I'm going to have some kind of customer. How about again 406, and then you'll see it picks up her name and city and state automatically. Then I go with the date of, I don't know, 1/1/2027, and employee ID is 51, which is again that Hudson. Okay, and then I go into the order ID, type 4000, pick a product 168, since I remember that's soccer shoes, retail price, and quantity of 10. Okay, and I close that. I should have now an additional order rather at the bottom, right here, there it is. Okay, and I should have an additional order detail at the bottom as well with those 10 units. Okay, and then finally testing the deletion. Let's just try to delete no, there is no delete option here, so I don't think we can test the deletion here. We'll have to jump through a couple more hoops in order to do that. Yeah, I thought we could. So let's see. I'm going to try to position it First of all, find the 4000. You can see this is somewhat harem scarum, so let's see if we can delete that record. Nah, I'm not sure what happened. So deletion, yeah, cannot perform. So we're going to undo this, and we're not going to be able to test the deletion on this example. Okay, now next we're going to switch back to the presentation. Whoa, and go to the last few slides. Right? Just like with the data entry forms, views are used as building blocks for reports coming out of the database applications. The main difference is the reports do not modify the database, so in that sense, some of this stuff is going to be simpler, but rather present the data in an informative manner to the user. Just like with the hierarchical forms, hierarchical reports display and summarize info from one to many relationships in the database. They use indentation to designate different grouping levels, with the innermost parts of the reports referred to as detail lines. Groups and detail lines are sorted so that the desired information is easily located. Most reports show summary calculations after each group as well. So what we're going to do, we'll demonstrate the use of queries/views for these hierarchical reports using the code at the bottom of the SQL file. So where's my SQL file? There is the last view/query, query/view is this report summary view over here. It's going to be called ACCDB4_31 report summary view. So create SQL view, save ACCDB431 report summary view. Okay, and we're going to run it. All right, we'll get the information grouped by employees, and then within employees, there are individual customers, and there are employees served, and then the number of orders and total sales shown. So now, to design the report, similar to the form design, we're going to use a report wizard, report summary view. Sorry, that's why this looks weird. Okay, next, we're going to use the employee last as a grouping. Next, summary options. We're going to summarize the number of orders and details, number of orders and total sales, and we'll just print it and or complete it and save it as ACCDB4_31_ summary report to stay consistent with the naming convention. You'll see the design is not all that great, but it's relatively quick and shows the summary report by employee last name for each of the last name customers and the number of orders and sales with these grouping levels. Okay, I'm going to close that, switch back to the presentation, and finally the summary slide. So we came to an end of a series on videos on views and their use as building blocks for database applications. We define the view as a virtual table or stored query and discuss how views promote some of the important aspects of application development, such as data dependence, simplification, and security. We then demonstrated the use of views for retrieval and updates and showed how to use these views to build few simple forms and reports. In this last video, we'll practice more some of these concepts and skills with additional examples like the university one and next assignment.